everyone. Welcome to another episode of Heavy Metal Muscle. Today, we're going to see what fitness looks like for different people. Starting with my friend Randy.
Hello.
So, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Randy. Born and raised here in town.
Lucky.
So
I moved here and been jealous of anybody who's lived here.
if we're looking at fitness, health, lifestyle, what have you,
How'd you get into the gym and start that journey? Go way back.
honestly, like growing up, high school, like I would definitely took the opportunity to go to the gym, and like most people kind of found myself coming and going infrequently and just not having any kind of consistent routine.
Yeah.
Zero progress because I knew what I was doing, right? Yeah. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But
You didn't start doing the dirty bulk?
no, I was definitely the person who gave up a couple times, and it probably wasn't until like my mid-20s where I kind of realized I needed something more, like to do more, like to use my body in a better way. So started taking advantage of some of the trails and stuff around town.
Like biking or running?
Hiking.
Hiking,
Yeah,
okay,
just
cool.
Mostly just hiking. Like it was.
So it's fun to explore the outdoors at the same time.
Low impact enough.
Yeah.
Fresh air, sunshine, all that. But then it was kind of just around that same time getting into hiking, yoga of all things.
Were you into sports in the high school and up to this point? Oh, okay.
Like grade school, I was kind of volleyball, basketball, but
you're a taller guy, so that would kind of make sense.
As soon as I got into high school, I just kind of dropped everything. Like I started working, so it was just time, not enough time. Started with yoga, just going once or twice a week, and then that slowly, probably over 2 years, escalated from once or twice a week to consistently going like 3 to 4 times a week. And just kind of feeling getting into that flow state of like doing something and not really having to think too hard about it, and just how good it felt for my body afterwards.
Good part of the lifestyle.
Yeah. So like that was definitely a good reintroduction into being active. And it was kind of around then too. I started countering the yoga with some strength training at the gym. That was a little more short-lived, but
why was it short-lived at that time?
Kind of same things, like not a lot of progress, kind of figuring out what I was doing, still enjoying the yoga a little bit more than anything gym related. But then like one of the bigger reasons I stopped with the gym was getting diagnosed with arthritis.
Oh shit, how old are you?
26.
Wow, that's pretty young to get arthritis.
Yeah. So my biggest things was noticing like my grip strength and my hands just aching and hurting all the time. So kind of figuring out life at that point, and like my day-to-day little struggles with things hurting and not being able to grasp dumbbells and whatever at the gym. I was like,
a huge hindrance on be able to progress or feel like you can get into it.
So, and then so the yoga came in, a little bit as like, well, I don't really have to use my hands to do too much, or like it was all open palm, like on the floor, not handstands, but like, hands and feet weren't as like necessary to hold on to things. So
did it limit your mobility for some of the stretches and stuff?
No, like because the arthritis really is just affecting my hands and feet. So like shoulders, hips, back, like everything's fine that way. So so I kind of just
lucky that the back wasn't there. Is that kind of thing?
Yeah.
My mom has a rheumatoid arthritis, and a couple of things are kind of compounding that, but like her back and hips and stuff really like add to that pain she's going through for that. But still, to have any kind of level of arthritis as you're younger, that'd be kind of scary and defeating, I'd imagine, mentally too.
Oh God, yeah. Like, so I would use this as an example is Imagine waking up and your first steps out of bed feel like you're walking on Lego.
Oh shit.
For 2 hours.
And we're talking like little pieces of Lego.
Yeah.
The ones that feel like you get embedded in your foot.
Exactly. So it's like that kind of like agony, pain, whatever you want to call it, persistent for a couple hours until, your body warms up and your joints get a little more lubricated and you can kind of move with a bit more ease. So yeah, like the start of my journey in, I'm hiking, I'm doing yoga, I'm trying to get back into the gym, and then you get this curveball. Very, very defeating, and you kind of think, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
My answer to what do you do now was I went back to school.
Exercise this other muscle.
Well, starting to learn something different. Finding a doctor who could actually start helping find ways to manage my arthritis symptoms. And that's kind of all cascaded from there. So with getting back into school, I got my group fitness certificate. I started my yoga training and got my yoga instructor certificate. And then finished my degree in kinesiology. So
some of this is almost self-diagnosing or does that kind of inspire you to go into kinesiology, given like this kind of journey of figuring out how your body worked? And
a little bit, yeah. That was definitely a part of it. Was
this is amazing. You have the passion to like study the body, given like you felt defeated with your own body at that time.
Yeah. I think it was a lot of what I did was kind of seeking ways to learn about not only myself, but how to be active. And so ultimately what, I found the right treatment plan with my doctor, which then allowed me to, teach. I was at one point teaching almost like 15 classes a week, like group fitness. And that was a mix of strength-based like boot camp classes, spin classes, and then yoga classes. So it was it was a good little mix of everything. How's that? I absolutely love teaching spin classes, hands down. Yoga is pretty good, just because I felt like I was able to teach a routine in a way that would help other people find that comfort, that flow state in their own practice.
Yeah, and that's like I'm more one-on-one type of training myself, but that to me is kind of the goal as well, to like have them be able to do something that's in their flow that they like to do and they find enjoyment and something they can do for a long time and be healthy and happy.
So it's kind of been the thing, the biggest journey. I mean, in the last probably 2 or 3 years, I have been able to go back to the gym and I've focused on, squatting and deadlifting, a little bit bench, but a little shoulder injury has kind of slowed that progression. But I've definitely found a way to be active and be at the gym and hike and do all the things I like without too much interference or pain.
So was the doctor that helped you diagnose how to like live with it, or did you have to figure out what was kind of the cause? Was it like somewhat diet related with the immune system response, or like whether it's like kind of the catalyst that caused it that you had to kind of go back to, or is it more handling it, or I guess a combination of those two things?
Definitely a mixed bag there. I would say it was a little bit genetic, so genetically related arthritis. So, but still, the behavior of inflammation was stress response. So anytime I was in high stress situations like exams or things like that, it would definitely impact flare-ups of the symptoms and limit my range of motion and comfort.
I'm just imagining being in like a final exam, like say like, well, I went to U of A, but they had like the pavilion, which is like a huge, massive gymnasium.
Yeah.
And there's like what, at least a couple thousand desks pretty much all in rows in a grid. And I just imagine sitting there and like 2.5 hours in and your hand cramping up from pain or something from the stress.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have that stress and it was already killing me. Never mind like my hand and joints all of a sudden like acting up at the same time. That would just compound the stress and make that exam that much more intense.
And that was one of the bigger, maybe a bigger learning too, was managing my stress. So by like my 3rd and 4th year of my degree, I came to like this weird stillness when I had any exams or tests or anything like that, where I could just, it really didn't seem to have big overflowing like, this is happening. I just was like, okay, I either know it or I don't, and here we go, and just give it my best shot. And
that's an amazing skill to get, even though you're forced to.
Yeah,
that's still an amazing skill to pick up.
Yeah,
maybe I can learn from you on that one.
We'll see. I guess you mentioned as well. So diet. I did look at playing around with diet to help with my arthritis.
Where I got that from, by the way, was Chris Kresser's book on functional medicine and preventative medicine, because they were talking about some things like your body having a certain stress response and stuff can be driven by diet. So that's why I was kind of curious, because I was been surprised that a lot of people haven't looked at diet when it comes to like arthritis or these kind of things. Like a lot of people even look at it for bloat. They don't realize where they're bloated. Nevertheless, something as like serious as arthritis or something joint related.
Yeah. Like I've always kind of had, I don't want to call them food sensitivities, but like you notice here how your body reacts to certain things. So for me, like chicken, I can't eat chicken, or else it just kind of ruins my insides.
So no broccoli diet like all the Hollywood stars.
No.
I can't think it's a euphemism for steroids in the Hollywood trainer circle, but it's like, I get 30 pounds in 3 months from chicken and broccoli.
Just
sure
chicken
you did.
and broccoli. Mm-hmm.
Sure you did.
Yeah. So I started playing around with a paleo diet. So like, eliminate as much grains, gluten, like potentially inflammatory foods.
Trying to eliminate the foods and trying to find out what were the inflammatory foods for you that caused these flare-ups as much as possible.
So like I'll say I did paleo, but it was kind of a loose paleo diet. Like I still did include some oils and fats in my diet, but got rid of grains, got rid of dairy, sugar, no alcohol. And this was kind of at the same time I'm still trying to find a course of treatment with my doctor. But through my diet alone, it probably took about 5 or 6 weeks to really start seeing some noticeable improvement.
But you did.
But I did, yeah. And I was probably taking like pain medication, like Aleve, Tylenol, Advil, whatever.
Weed, CBD, heroin. How far did you go?
Well, that's another story. No, it's like I went from having to have it in the morning to be able to have some kind of function, and usually needing to have something in the afternoon as well.
Especially I can see if you wake up and it feels like you're walking a Lego, then it's like bopping it right away to be able to feel like you can get started on your day.
Yeah. But went from that to not needing anything.
Wow.
Like the pain was minimized enough to the point, like obviously it was still there. I knew it was still there. It wasn't cured, but it was livable at that point.
It was mostly diet related of where that response was as opposed to the medications.
Yeah. So and at that point when I was doing the paleo diet too, it was kind of in the mix of like I had just moved, I was starting at a new school because I transferred. So like there was just kind of these additional compounding stressors as well. So like just trying to manage my time. I was not exercising. I was doing zero. But
still, you were able to tell based on walking around and doing daily activities. Yeah. Pretty much because of your hands and feet.
Yeah. And then like just not being in pain, and then starting to kind of see the benefit of the diet. Like I did eventually go back to eating a fairly conventional diet after that.
But you had that much more knowledge of what things to avoid, I guess.
Well,
for the most part.
I definitely did the paleo diet wrong because as an unintended side effect, sure, we'll say that, I lost 35 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So I went from hovering around 200 pounds. I lost 35. So I was probably in between about 161, 165 on a daily. 6'2".
Oh, that's
so like
tiny.
It got to the point where I was like, this is scaring me how slim I'm getting.
Yeah.
And I could tell just being in school, and especially because final exams were approaching, like the capacity of my brain was just not there.
So kind of brain fog, and that's obviously diet.
Too. So it kind of pushed me into like, okay, I need to eat normal, or that I'm gonna kill myself, loosely. I did retain a lot of the benefits that happened. I think my body was able to maintain at a reduced level after that experience of changing my diet. And then, so that's then where I jumped back into, I did my certifications, got back into yoga and being at the gym. It was also pretty good motivation that I had found a friend through school who was very into, going to the gym and being physically active. So it kind of helped piggyback off of him to get me there. And so it wasn't just like, oh, I'm doing it for me. It's like, okay, no, I'm doing it for you because that's what I need to get myself there. So that was kind of my mental state at the time.
It's amazing just about the diet, just say that like how foundational it is to fitness. Like whether your goal is to, like me, I'm trying to compete in classic physique, and my diet is different from other competitors because you're always trying to figure out how your body is working and how it responds and how you prep your metabolism to like drop pounds of fat later and how much calories you need to drop and what's the response to what macros at different timings and all that. And that's somebody who doesn't have most dietary issues, like nevertheless, like I have like, obviously I bloat more with certain things or that kind of stuff and respond better to certain proteins other than others and different times of that. But I didn't have the challenge that you faced of arthritis and figuring out the diet and stress to be able to get into the gym. I was just like, the skinny nerdy kid who wanted to get muscle bound because I've watched so many 80s action movies growing up, like that's
it kind of just goes to show, like, you would never know, just even by looking at my hands right now, you wouldn't know that I have arthritis.
No. You got the gym calluses going. And
so like, gave me a little more empathy towards people who maybe have something going on, mentally, physically, whatever, that you don't know about.
Right, yeah.
That's maybe, killing their motivation to get to the gym, or maybe that's why they have to perform a certain exercise a certain way, where it's like, it's maybe not the most conventional way, but like, is their form shitty? Sure, maybe, but maybe have a conversation with them, be like, hey, I noticed open up some dialogue to be like, well, what's going on? Like, are you hurt? Like, do you not know what you're doing? Or like, are you doing what you need to do because of what's going on for yourself? That I can't see.
And just want to say, like, your journey to get to this point versus like, say, I didn't have that challenge to get to where I'm at. I would say like your journey is just as impressive as like my like muscle gain or whatever, because I'm like, trying to be a bodybuilder, but like what's impressive is the tenacity and energy spent and passion to get to a goal. And it looks different to everybody. Like, not everybody has the same goal, and neither they should. Everybody has different paths that they're walking, and they might look different at the gym doing different exercises, but like, you don't know their journey, how they got there. And it could be really mind-blowing how they, like, the challenges and situations that got to them. But they're all in the gym trying to be fit and healthy. And, that's really, even though I'm trying to, like, obviously compete, really the end goal is to be able to be muscular and happy and for a long time. Because I do it because that's what made me happy in the gym, is trying to, like, have that goal. But I understand that's not the same for everybody. We're all not all metalheads and want to look like the album covers. The ripped guys holding the Mjolnir going in to fight the Vikings or the Norse gods.
Yeah, sometimes you're just the skinny guy from the boy band.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
That makes you larger than life.
Oh, God. Yeah.
90s kid.
No comment.
What would you have learned on your health and fitness journey that you would tell people now getting into it? Like, just starting off, if you give any advice from what things you've learned.
Any advice that I would say is every little bit helps. I've seen this on social media sometimes where it'll be like 1% improvement every day leads to 365% improvement over the year.
I wish it was as simple as that.
I wish it was as simple as that, but like, that's it. Like if you know, in the long and short of it, going out for a 10-minute walk, if you never go for 10-minute walks,
it's a big step.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, find a way to make those small changes, and it doesn't have to be I'm going to the gym now, it's going to be 5 days a week.
Huge life-changing.
I'm going to crush it. No, start with 2 days a week. Find your way through that.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're enjoying it, you can fit more in. Cool. Add that bit more in. Like,
and I guess on that same note, probably try different things to find what you get into as you're taking each step.
Yeah. Like, so I work at a gym. So if I'm, helping any members at the facility, especially new ones, and you can kind of tell if they're a little bit green. It's like, okay, cool. Here's a couple of our group fitness classes. This is going to be a great way for you to get an idea of what you can do out on the gym floor.
Yeah. So it can be intimidating coming to a gym if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah. Like, and as intimidating as a group fitness class might be, someone is there to help you.
Yeah.
And if that helps you feel more comfortable without that person, because you're alone on the gym floor now, great. Like, let that be your little guiding light. Like, find your way to freshen up the gym for yourself. So even if you're bored of the same cycle that you've been doing for the last 8 weeks and you want to change something, like, yeah, sure, the internet's there, go look stuff up, or jump into a group fitness class. Maybe you'll find a way to do some weird lunge that you've never done before that you can now start incorporating, and then add more weight and see how you can include it in based on the equipment that you have available to you. That would be my advice. Little bits at a time, and check out what options you have so that you feel like you know what you're doing. Especially if you're green. Scary. Just do it. There, that's 3 pieces of advice. A little bit, try new things, and then just do it.
I think that's a good piece to end on here with those 3 pieces of advice for the new people. And thank you again for telling us and sharing your fitness journey, how you got there, and the challenges you faced along the way. That's an amazing journey that I'm sure quite a few people will find inspiring. So thank you so much, Randy, and make sure to like and subscribe, and use my affiliate code and discount below if you want to save on some Redcon and support the channel. And I'll catch you next time on Heavy Metal Muscle.